Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's kind of crazy how it's already time to set up my bullet journal for October. I'm actually starting a new notebook this month because I have run out of pages in my previous notebook. This is the Into the Forest notebook from Archer and Olive. I'm hoping that this notebook will last me from October to December because I really want to start January in a new notebook. But anyway, at the start of every new notebook, I always break in the spine to make it lay flat. I think you're supposed to alternate between the front and back pages, but I don't know why I didn't do that here. Anyway, I'm keeping my initial setup pages pretty simple since most of my start of journal stuff are in my yearly bujo. I'm reusing the cut files from a past bujo setup because I had no time to make new titles from scratch. But as you can see, the cut lines are off because my silhouette cameo has been a little bit wonky, so we'll just have to make do with it. The first spread is for my bullet journal keys, and I'm following the same style as what I did for my previous bullet journal. So I'm ripping a piece of the Planet Supplies 2.0 washi from TCMC into two for the top and bottom borders. Before pasting the key header under the top border, I made the titles using the digital Scrabble emoji title doodles from TCMC as well. I'm keeping the symbols that I've been using the same as they have been working well for me. Technically, I don't really need a key page since I already know my own keys, but it kind of feels weird to start a new bullet journal without this spread. But now that the spread is done, let's move on to the next spread. This is my grid spacing guide spread. I'm pretty sure you've seen many people do this in their bullet journal, but for me, it's just a way to take note of the divisions for half, thirds and quarters so that I don't have to calculate them all the time. I personally find it helpful to know the measurements in centimeters instead of counting the number of dot grid spaces. It's just so much faster that way for me. So when I'm dividing the page for my spreads, I just need to use a ruler to measure the divisions. But honestly, I'm not entirely happy with how I set up my grid spacing guide. I feel like there's something missing and overall it looks kind of confusing. Like you can see there are some mistakes here and there, and funnily enough, this is the exact same mistake that I did in my previous bullet journal setup. Hopefully by the time I set up my next bullet journal, I would have figured out a way to make this grid spacing guide neater and less confusing. But we will just have to live with this for now. On the next page, I'm doing what I call a spread spacing guide. Since I mostly use washi tapes and sticker kits in my bullet journal, I need to keep track of the remaining space on each spread after adding them to my page. I usually divide the page into two sections, so knowing the measurements for each half is helpful. I also typically have a weekly TV calendar page which requires a spacing guide for 7 sections, so you will see me use this in practice later. I also included a spacing for my tabs for my own reference. I will add more spread spacing guides as I go, but for now, let's move on to my feature log. I'm using a Secluded Town washi from the Coffee Monsters Co. for the bottom of this spread, as well as the light wood grain emoji heads washi for the top border. The titles again are made using the Scrabble emoji tiles. I'm dividing each page into 3, so there are 6 columns in total. I am expecting to use this bullet journal till December, so I'm just including 6 months worth in my future log. The calendars are from the digital files section in the TCMC Facebook group, and I really appreciate that Helen has put up the 2025 calendars early, which means that I could set up this future log using her calendars as usual. I will fill in my future log off camera, so for now, let's move on to the next spread. This is my waiting on spread for any incoming happy mail. I'm making a horizontal touch door this time round because I want to separate my domestic orders from my international orders. The washi tape at the top is the You Got Mail washi from One Small With Love, and I made the title using the Scrabble tiles again, though I actually pasted the first half on the wrong line, so I tried repositioning it and ended up ripping it in the process. But since my silhouette isn't working correctly, I don't think it's worth the effort to print and cut just one title again. Hopefully that tear will not bother me too much. For the domestic orders page, I'm using the Sunset Shimmer washi, and for the international orders page, I'm using the matching Stunning Sunrise washi. In my previous bullet journal, I used the same table headers for both domestic and international mail, but I quickly realized that it doesn't work that way since the processes for international and domestic mail are different. So I'm doing 2 different headers for the tables. Hopefully this way will make my order tracking less confusing and less messy. Since there is some space left, I wanted to put international transit for the last column, but I realized that only my packages shipped to the US forwarding warehouse will go through this process, pages, so it doesn't make sense to have a column just for that. Instead, I'm renaming that column to remarks to make it more general. I'm keeping the headers the same as my previous bujo for the international orders page because it has worked very well for me, so I don't see the point in changing that. Though honestly these days I'm kind of lazy to keep checking the shipping status. If it comes, it comes, though it would be helpful to know where the package is in case it gets lost. I actually made a mistake here because the shop column is supposed to have 4 spaces, but we'll leave it as it is for now. And that is it for the initial setup pages in my bujo. Let's finally move on to my October spreads. I wasn't sure what theme to use for this month, but I ended up going with the pastel ghost theme from Planning with K. As mentioned earlier, my silhouette cameo isn't working properly, so I had to reprint and cut the first 2 pages of the kit. Not that the second cut was any different, because as you can see, the cut lines were all off-centered, and this only happens to the second half of the sheet. The top half is okay, but the second half is all cut wrongly. I will still use these stickers to prevent wastage, so hopefully it will not bother me too much. These stickers were also cut too deep, and one of them even went missing. The off-centered cuts are more obvious on this sheet, so yeah, if you have a solution to fix this issue, please let me know. Hopefully I will find a fix by next month. I am kind of tempted to get her physical sticker sheets, but I hate waiting, but I also hate having misaligned stickers. I've been feeling really uninspired lately, so I'm just using more printable backgrounds for my cover page. I actually used 2 of Kayla's fonts for the title and the quote, which you can get from Patreon. I also printed out a matching quote page as well as the 2-page and 1-page calendars. These calendars have been a lifesaver because I hate counting boxes. So without further ado, let's start on the October cover page. This is the pastel sky background which you can get on Patreon. I just typed the words over it in Silhouette Studio instead of pasting a sticker with the words. I've been having a lot of trouble putting these full page stickers down straight, which I think is a me problem because I followed all the tips people swear by and it's still crooked. The quote I chose for this theme is a line from the song Ghosts of You and Me by BBMak. I'm not sure if anyone remembers them, but as a kid I really liked BBMak and was sad that my circle of friends didn't know who they were. I remember I had a cassette tape of their album Into Your Head, and after a few years it got spoiled and I was so sad about it. But anyway, I chose this line because it's my favorite line from the song and it kind of fits the theme of pastel ghosts, right? I thought the background felt a bit too plain, so I'm adding a bunch of stickers from the Pastel Ghosts and Friends deco sheet, and I think it looks so much better now. Now that it's done, let's move on to the next spread. This is my monthly overview spread, so I'm just sticking the 2-page calendar printable for this spread. I had to reposition the printable a few times, so that's why there are some creases, but there's nothing my spatula can't fix, so I'm using it to smooth out the creases. My monthly overview is for all the appointments and time-specific tasks I need to get done in the month. I try to schedule some tasks on specific days, so this calendar helps me identify which days are ideal for specific tasks. For this month, I'm keeping things simple and retiring the alphabet stems for now, so I'm just writing the title and dates using my Pentel brush sign pen. For now, I'm only adding the public thing I'm doing on this calendar, which is the day this Plan With Me video goes up. And with that, let's move on to the next spread. This will be my TV calendar spread, though I'm still using the TV schedule sticker. For the top border, I'm using the Neon Candy Purple Bats washi from Simply Gilded, and the bottom washi is the Neon Candy Pink Bats. On the left side of the page, I'm sticking the large vertical sidebar before pasting the vertical number strip next to it. On the top of the spread, I'm using one of the large header stickers along with a TV schedule script sticker that I made myself. I'm writing the initials of the days of the week using my Staedtler fine liner, though it looks kind of faint on camera. But for now, let's move on to the next spread. Continuing with the Bats washi tapes, this time I'm using the neon purple and black Bats washi for the top border, and for the bottom border, the colors on the washi are just inverted. I'm using the same washi tape combination on the next page because this spread will actually be a Dutch door. I'm cutting 4 cm off the page to make a vertical Dutch door, and on the side of the Dutch door that is visible on both sides, sides. I'm pasting another of that large vertical sidebar on the right, while the left side has the washi strip from the kit as well as the horizontal number strip, using the same two fine liners for the initials of the days of the week. The first part of the Dutch door is for my daily review page, which is basically a space for me to jot down any side effects from my new medication as well as anything significant that may contribute to my mood. On the flip side, I'm using this spread as a space for my daily gratitude. I enjoyed having this spread in September, so I'm bringing it over to October, though I forgot to fill it in for the second half of the month. Hopefully I'll remember to fill in this month. But for now, moving on to the next spread, which is for my content calendar. I'm using the one-page calendar printable to track my progress for video editing, making sure that I can meet the deadlines I set for myself. On the other page, I'm using the purple Pixel Ghost washi at the bottom, along with the neon candy purple color block washi at the top, as well as one of the larger square stickers from the kit. This will be for my brain dump. Basically, it's for anything that doesn't quite fit into the spreads that I have. Leaving that blank for now and moving on to the next spread, I'm using the same neon purple color block washi for the top of the page. At the bottom of the page, I'm using two versions of the Haunted Houses pinks purples. I think one of them is supposed to be an oops roll, but I forgot what the mistake was. But anyway, the spread on the left is for my weekly TV schedule, and I'm using the set of the days of the week stickers that are off-centered here. The next page is for my Stream It Now page, which is basically my TV tracker. There are a bunch of new shows premiering this month, so I'll add them later. But now on the next spread, I'm using this spooky cute confetti purple washi along with the neon candy purple bats washi at the top. I'm dividing this page into two. One column is for my monthly tasks and the other is for my maybe next or to be watched list. I'm really so happy that the two square headers fit perfectly into the columns. Usually the next spread will be for next month's calendar, but I had this matching code printable for this theme, so I'm including the code here instead. Hopefully I won't regret not including next month's calendar for reference. Moving on to the first weekly spread of the month, I'm using the pink Pixel Ghosts as well as the pink Ghosts and Cats washi tapes at the top and bottom of the spread. I'm dividing each page into 3, so there are 6 columns in total, and that's because the first week of October only has 6 days. I'm using the other set of days of the week stickers from the kit, and I'm adding the smaller square deco stickers from the monthly kit at the bottom of each column. For the dates, I actually made some stickers using the fonts again, though I'm not happy with how big the offset is. But that is it for my October spreads. Here's the final flip through. To be honest, I haven't been inspired to set up my bullet journal lately, so I truly appreciate Kay making all these printables as they make setting up my spreads so much easier. I'm quite excited for this theme because I've been eyeing this kit for a while now. Even though I don't celebrate Halloween, I do have lots of Halloween tips to go along with this kit. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments your theme for October, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!